Welcome back to the podcast. It's another episode of the Weeknight Mysteries podcast. We do this podcast 2 times every week.
On a good week, yeah.
A good week. Today we're going to be talking about Jarrett Brooks' case. I found this one, and I guess I entered what? No, you were shaking around.
Yeah, well, we agreed that you're gonna be a little bit more alive.
I am alive.
You are?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, everything's fine. I showed you the case, and you agreed that it was interesting.
Yeah, it was definitely interesting because there was a CCTV footage of a teenager stealing, if we could say that, a gun.
From his own home.
Yeah, and disappearing.
Yeah.
It's recent, and up until now, there's no trace of him.
There's no trace of Jarrett Brooks up until this moment. Jarrett Brooks was 16. He was a teenager from Arizona. He was a resident of a very small city in Arizona called Joseph City. Joseph City is not really close to anything in Arizona. If you would look at Joseph City on the map, and I do have like some images there, it's really not close to anywhere. So when Jarrett Brooks disappears from Joseph City, we have to take into account that he actually goes missing from a middle of nowhere in Arizona.
Yeah, I was supposed to say that.
Yeah, like Arizona desert in the middle of nowhere. Right? And everything is happening last year, 2023, July 4th morning. You know, July 4th, the big thing in America. They are celebrating that date specifically. And Jarrett Brooks, yeah, he basically leaves the house in the early morning hours. He apparently walks past his mother a little bit. They have a quick interaction as the mother is going to take a shower. I don't know if Jarrett had already taken a shower or not. Looks like he takes a gun. He steals the gun from the family's safe where they keep the guns. I think the family owns multiple guns. You know, it's Arizona. They probably have multiple guns. And he takes the gun, which is a pistol, and he leaves. Apparently, he left without any personal belongings other than that gun. I don't know if he had taken the phone with him, and the family has some weird phone policy that we're going to go into a little bit. Don't hold your horses here. And yeah, it's a strange case. It's been it's like a year and a half. It's legit a year and a half that Jarrett Brooks is still a missing teenager, a missing kid.
With a gun.
With a gun, and there are a few lines of thinking here. The family is under the assumption that he is still alive. The family believes that he is still alive and he is in quote-unquote bad situation. That's how they describe his current whereabouts. All right, so shall we just kind of walk through the case bit by bit?
Yeah, let's start at the very beginning. Let us know what happened and who was or who is Jarrett.
Jarrett Brooks, right? So I don't know much about Jarrett Brooks himself. He looks like one of those like rural kids from America. There are multiple articles claiming that he was a cowboy, and we have images of him.
He does look like a cowboy.
Basically, I would say more than half of the pictures that we have of him, he's doing some cowboy stuff. He's
Even
either
the hair is very cowboyish.
He has a mullet. He is 6 foot tall, so he's a pretty big guy, and he is basically, I guess, just a rural Arizona cowboy kid. That's how I would describe him. Looked like he was a little bit of a troublemaker from the looks of it, because he was getting into trouble with his parents. The parents also have a pretty weird and kind of shady background, but obviously we will get into if that could potentially have something to do with his disappearance. I'm not sure about it, honestly, and police is not sure as well, but that's coming up in a little bit. So Jarrett Brooks, right? Everything's happening on the July 4th of last year. So that's 2023. And yeah, he goes missing from his hometown, Joseph City. Now, Joseph City is in the middle of freaking nowhere. It's literally the most how should I put it? The most
Remarkable.
Yeah, unremarkable American city you could possibly have. And it has just a little over 1,000 people living there. I looked at the Google Street View, and it doesn't look like much is happening in Joseph City. Now, Jarrett himself, he was from a big family. He was one of 7 children, and he had, from the family picture, I can see that there were four sons and there were three girls. And I think he was the middle child. So he was right in the middle of the family. So when he was 16, when he went missing, I think it's safe to assume that he already had fairly grown up siblings. And also some of the siblings were still very young. That's fair to assume. And what happened was that Jarrett, apparently, sometime before July 4th celebrations, he had taken the family vehicle and he had broken a part called the CV axle or something like that. Now, he was warned by his parents not to take the family car, one of the family cars, I think they had multiple cars, off-roading. But he did take it off-roading and he broke the part. So the part is apparently $100 worth to fix, and he was grounded on July 4th. Is this the same story that you had in your head so far?
Yeah, definitely. But it's, oh wow, for a teenager, it's a pretty big deal to be grounded on the 4th of July.
But then again, he took the family car and he broke the axle for the 4th. He basically was warned 4 times not to take the car. And apparently he had been taking the car and taking it off-roading on a regular basis. So you kind of have to understand that Jarrett was probably one of those more rowdy kids in the location.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, there's probably a lot more freedoms that a kid could have in that type of an environment, you know, living.
I mean, come on. He had access to guns. What are you talking about? He has the freedom. He had the freedom.
Yeah, I mean, that's crazy to think about. Well, for people like you
I
and
can't
me, right?
even imagine.
Right. So basically, he goes missing in the early morning hours. Now, later on in the day, his, I think, father reviewed the CCTV footage of the house. And yeah, they see that as he was leaving the house, and we have a still CCTV footage of Jarrett Brooks holding a gun. And can you describe what he is wearing? What do you see here? What can you make out from this CCTV?
I don't know if it was hot in Arizona by then, but he was wearing shorts.
I think July in Arizona is pretty hot.
Yeah, it's summer, right? Basically
Yeah.
a summer outfit. A
Yes.
t-shirt, a dark t-shirt with a print of America, like literally like bold, all caps letters of America, some print over there. Regular shorts that you would wear during the summer.
Looks like basketball shorts.
Really?
Well, these are more baggy shorts.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like very comfortable looking shorts. And I'm assuming the gun, he was hiding his gun underneath the shirt. I don't know.
I think he was hiding the gun in his shorts. What is the strap?
The waistband.
The waistband. I think that's where it's assumed that he is now hiding the gun.
Yeah. I mean, is he wearing a hat? I don't know. The picture is pretty grainy.
That's a grainy picture. I think so.
And from the looks of it, doesn't seem like he's wearing shoes. He probably wore shoes like
I think he wore
afterwards.
short. Yeah. Okay, so when law enforcement figured this information out that, oh, he has a gun, they started looking for him. And on the same day, as they were looking for Jarrett Brooks, they got a hold of a neighbor, or should I say the neighbor, or not the neighbor, sorry, like a local resident from Joseph City, who lived around a mile away from where Jarrett was living. He actually approached the cops himself, Joe Zabadal,
This was a farmer, right?
the farmer.
Can you imagine how crazy it is in there to see someone just walking around? Because I'm assuming like really massive spaces, like miles of land, acres of land, they're like empty fields. And then the next house is like somewhere like a mile away.
Yeah,
Can you imagine like seeing someone just walking on the street? Probably like
not on
super
the
weird.
street, in the pasture,
In the past, okay, that makes it extra weird.
with a gun out.
Gun out.
Yeah, he had the gun out.
Okay, that's just
So, okay, let me give you some information here. So, the last probable sighting of Jarrett was by a local rancher named Joe Zabadal, who saw someone fitting Jarrett's description striding through his private pasture property, which was about a mile away from Jarrett's home at around 7 a.m. Let's remember that Jarrett apparently left his home with a gun at around 6:30. So I think it's completely natural to assume that he walked to that pasture on foot, because I think within a 30-minute space you could definitely cover 1 mile. It's not that hard. So we don't know what exactly Jarrett was doing on a pasture, because it was private property.
maybe he was cutting through.
Exactly.
Like, instead of taking the main road, he probably took a shortcut to somewhere where he was supposed to go.
Yeah. According to Joseph Adal, Jarrett had his pants tucked into the white top boots. So he had some pants on, apparently. So maybe
Okay, so he changed.
yeah, potentially he changed something. The same as Jarrett's favorite pair of boots, and he was heading west out of town, apparently towards this very small rural road called Lacy Lane. So I had actually a pretty hard time trying to find this Lacy Lane. But I was able to find it because there's kind of like two Lacy lanes in the general vicinity. But I was able to find the actual Lacy Lane. And to kind of describe Lacy Lane as the road, I mean, once again, everything's on the Google kind of like maps and stuff like that on the file. It's a very rural road that leads to absolutely nowhere. And to give you a better perspective, why I find it pretty strange. Now, I'm not sure if you're going to be able to find the exact Google Maps thingy that I'm looking at. It's kind of like down the line in our file. But Joseph City, you found it. Even if you go a little bit lower, and then the first one from the two ones that you can see. Do you see the one that has Lace Lane home in Joseph City?
It's barely even there.
Can you show me what you're looking at? So I would tell you if it's perfect. You're looking at what I'm exactly. So basically, what I'm trying to make, it's barely there, right?
Yeah, I can't even see it.
Lacy Lane. Explain what you see.
I could see that it's pretty closer from the Brooks's home, but it's so far away from the main road. So I don't know where he's intending to go, but it's definitely not like towards civilization, I guess.
Exactly. And now, why I wanted you to look at that particular map point that we're showing on the YouTube channel. If you go and subscribe, you could see this stuff for free. Joseph City is literally around Highway 40, which will take you to another kind of city. And I don't understand why Jarrett would be walking to Lacy Lane. The only reason why he would go to Lacy Lane if he was gonna get picked up by somebody is to go north. Because why would he go to Lacy Lane and get picked up by someone on the road and go south? Because if he's gonna go south, he's gonna hit Highway 40, which is way easier to get to if he just went straight south from his home. He doesn't have to cut to Lacy Lane like that. So he's going north. The only logical explanation, does it make sense so far?
Yes and no.
Okay,
The story does make sense, but
no, like, does it make sense that like he would be going north so far?
oh yeah, he's definitely going north. Although
No, we don't know if he got picked up. If he got picked up, then I would bet my money that he's going north.
to where? That did not make sense to me.
Check out the second screenshot of the zoomed out maps. There is literally nothing there.
Exactly, like the National Forest or the Hopi Reservation.
Yeah, no, there's nothing there. And I actually even had to follow like the road on the maps, and it literally leads into nowhere for a long time. It kind of goes into this desert location.
Is there a hill or something? Did you find a hill or something?
Like a hill? No.
Okay.
Not the hill in particular, but yeah, it literally goes nowhere, in my opinion. So I would be under the assumption that he's going nowhere. If he's getting picked up by someone and they're going nowhere
Okay, just throwing this
with
out.
guns,
Do you think he was lost?
maybe. I don't know.
He's a local though.
He's a
Growing
local.
up there.
Exactly. He's a local. I think he would probably know where it's at, where things are at. But I don't know.
And if he was lost, then he could have just went to who's that guy again? The neighbor?
Joe,
Yeah, Joe. Joe's home. or
Joe
something.
Zabadal,
Yeah.
Zabadal or something.
Battle.
Maybe that's what he would have done.
Yeah. If he was actually lost. But it seems like he had the intention to go in a particular spot,
Yeah.
right?
Yes. Okay. On top of that, I'd like to mention the fact that we don't know for 100% certainty that that was Jarrett on Joe Zabadal's property. It's just that Joe Zabadal reported someone looking kind of very similar to Joe, to kind of Jarrett, because he was looking at this person through binoculars. It wasn't like he saw him in person, like up close. He was looking at someone with binoculars who kind of had their gun out
Okay, so
in the early morning hours of a very small rural town. So I'm betting that that was actually Jarrett.
yeah, there are two things that convince me that it was actually Jarrett. One is the gun, and the second is the white boots. What a coincidence to have both.
Exactly. Though I'm just saying that I just want to be completely like transparent with the listeners here, that we can't say for certain that that's Jarrett, but it looks like it's Jarrett. So yeah, going through the story, right? So by the time that Zabadal, Mr. Joe Zabadal, who tried to like intercept Jarrett because he was basically trespassing, right? By the time he got to the road, he found that Jarrett was nowhere there. He found he didn't see Jarrett there. Once he got to him, to the road, to Lacy Lane, he's gone.
How fast was Jarrett walking?
I don't know. So the Brooks family says that since the beginning they believe that he was picked up by someone in Lacy Lane, and that they believe that he is currently alive, but not in a good situation. That's what they say. And his father said that neither my wife nor I have ever got a gut feeling that he's not with us anymore. And he said maybe it's parents' intuition. And he also said that they would love to have him home or have the closure and end this torment and torture that they had experienced and continue to experience on a daily basis. Burke said that the only thing that makes sense to them is that he was in a hurry because he had arranged to meet someone on that particular part of rural Lacy Road. And then I would only assume that they're going north into the middle of nowhere with a gun,
Interesting.
right? That doesn't sound great, right?
Definitely not.
So, yeah. Brooks said that he doesn't believe that Jarrett took the gun to take his own life, because now we're going into the theory part of the whole situation.
Okay.
It's believed that a lot of people believe, and when I was first reading the story, I actually also was thinking that maybe Jarrett took his own life.
I'm leaning towards that until now.
Well, hold your horse. I'll tell you why I think that might be not the case. But I'm not saying that that's not the case. But I'm saying I think there's more space. There's more space in my mind for something else.
Because right now I'm leaning towards either runaway or taking his own life.
Yeah, but I will get into it in a little bit. The initial reaction was that he was going to, do some self-harm. So the parents freaked out. But it wasn't very long after that the parents realized that that's not Jarrett and he didn't have that mindset. And they also said that when they found out that he was on Lacy Lane Road, then they were like, okay, he definitely got picked up by someone on that road. So that's why the parents believe that he is still potentially alive and in a bad situation, because the parents think that he was potentially groomed by an online groomer, and now the family has a very tight phone policy. So I myself will say Jarrett, who is a guy who's like, driving the family car and off-roading and breaking parts, and he is a rowdy kid with like experience with guns, you know what I'm saying? So he's like a kid that's really goes around a lot. I think there's space for him to have a burner phone that he used to conversate with other people online because his parents were checking his phone. The family had a phone policy. By the end of the day, they would collect everyone's phones and they would look at what's in the phone. So as a 16-year-old boy, I sure as hell wouldn't want anyone checking my phones at 16. Sure as hell, Jared, who's a way wilder kid than me, but back when I was 16, I was just doing nothing basically all day. He's doing so much. He definitely has secrets and he's definitely talking with other people. I somehow don't think that a kid like Jared, with his background, would not have a burner phone. A burner phone.
Well, I must say that strict parents really I don't know.
It makes the kid more crazy sometimes.
No. Yeah, but in a way more secretive. That's what I wanted to say.
Exactly. And someone like Jared, because I would understand if, Jared was a very good boy. Like he was a good kid.
He looks like a good kid.
He's a good kid, but he's clearly doing some stuff. Taking the car, hijacking the car, running away from the house.
I mean, it just seems like a teenager having fun, honestly.
Too much fun sometimes.
Yeah, but come on, he was homeschooled. It was in the middle of nowhere. Probably bored. Really bored, you know what I mean?
I wonder what was probably we didn't mention this, but he was also homeschooled. This is something we need to kind of address here. Jared was homeschooled. I don't know what this means for us. What do you think that means for the case? Do you think that maybe that makes him a little bit more what would, because usually you would think, a homeschooled kid, they would be very antisocial, but seems like Jared was super social.
Really?
So he had apparently a lot of friends and stuff.
Oh, that's
nice
to hear.
Yeah, when they found out that he broke the car part, they actually confiscated his phone, and they even found messages where Jared was talking with his friends how to fix the part without the parents finding out. So he had other people that he was hanging out, clearly.
I kind of find that part offensive though. Like the confiscation of phones every night and the parents digging through all of the information.
Honestly, yeah, for not my cup of tea.
Yeah.
But to each his own. I mean, if you have kids, I guess you can. I guess you do you.
Where's the privacy?
There is no privacy.
Exactly, and every night, maybe if they're grounded or something, sure, but every night it's just. It feels like he had a very strict household.
Oh yeah.
From all of the information we know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I just okay. So the day he left, he managed to take a gun, but he didn't take anything else.
No.
That's the biggest.
No, and I believe he didn't take his wallet. That's a huge clue because okay, this is July 4th. You're about to have a good time, especially in America. Come on, it's a big celebration. You just got grounded. You have and this is a key piece of information for our listeners that maybe I made a mistake not telling earlier, and maybe you don't know as well, but you probably know, but I'm going to tell you anyways. So as he grazed past his mother in the morning, because let's remember, his mother is the last person to have spoken to Jared in the morning, when the mother, I think, just went to take a morning shower, start her day on July 4th. He approached his mother, and at that point he was grounded. And he asked his mother, am I grounded from everything or just taking the car? And she said everything. And then he was like, Okay, and walked away. So he then snatches the family gun, leaves all of his personal belongings behind, and walks out. I think that I personally, from this story, I think that he walked out because of that conversation with his mother. If the mother would have said, you're grounded just from taking the car, but you could still go outside, celebrate with your friends, I don't think he takes that gun. I don't think he walks across the pasture, and I don't think he goes to Lacy Lane. That's just how
I don't
my
get it.
feeling. Okay, sorry. I was really trying to. I was hoping this makes sense. No,
Okay.
no. What I'm saying is that I think the catalyst for him leaving was the conversation with his mom.
You meant he gotten very upset.
Yeah, he was maybe hoping that he's not grounded from just walking around. And that his mom told, no, you're staying in the house. You're
But
fully
why take a
grounded.
gun and disappear?
Exactly. Because now I'm thinking maybe that's the worst case scenario.
Yeah.
But what are your thoughts? Sorry, I know you wanted to step in. I just kind of was trying to drive my point here.
No, I wanted to know where the gun closet or safe was at.
In the house? Well, I don't know where exactly in the house it was, but it was within the house.
Yeah, because I'm thinking if, for example, it was, let's say, in the garage or something, or in the back of the house, then he would have had enough time to take his wallet.
Now I get what you're saying. Like would it be yeah.
Yeah. Like, why just immediately grab a gun?
Okay.
Money is the most important thing, at least in this scenario.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. Now I understand what you were saying. I never had the assumption that he is taking the gun and that he doesn't have time to take personal belongings. I was always under the assumption that he just kind of was in a fit of rage and he left without thinking about the wallet. I don't think there was any blockers for him to getting the wallet. I think if he wanted to get more personal belongings, he could have. Because look, he takes the gun with a pair of shorts and he doesn't have any shoes on. So he probably went to his room and put on a pair of shoes and put on a pair of pants. So I think he could have easily grabbed the wallet as well, unless the wallet is confiscated as well. Maybe the phone and wallet is under confiscation.
I believe so, yeah.
Oh, do you think that? Oh, okay. Because that
I think
thing,
I read an
that-
article that
Oh, it
everything, wallet, phone, it was confiscated from him.
Oh, okay. No, okay. Now it's different. Now it's different.
Now I'm thinking, if, for example, it was confiscated and he probably knew, oh, it could be in mom and dad's room. Go to mom and dad's room first.
But he didn't want to do that because he wanted to sneak out.
Exactly, but this is why I'm leaning towards the unfortunate self-harm, mainly because he only took a gun.
No, I get it. I get the point. I get what you're saying here. Now let's move a little bit through a little bit more information because now I'm gonna add in a little bit more stuff, a little bit more context here, and then we can kind of really drive home like what we think about the case. So once again, the Brooks said that he didn't take they believe that he didn't take the gun to take his own life because it wouldn't fit his personality and the circumstances, according to the parents. Yep.
All I'm gonna say is that we never know what is going on in a person's head, especially as a teenager.
Oh, I'm not debating on that. I'm completely agreeing that this could be just the parents
Yes,
saying some wishful thinking,
That's
doing some
true.
wishful thinking. You know, I don't know. We don't know Jarrett.
yeah, we don't know at all.
The initial reaction that he was going to do self-harm, they don't believe it because he was in Lacy Lane. And then they said, why would he pace back and forth on the side of the road? Because Joe, the guy who made the last sighting of Jarrett, he said that when he was looking at Jarrett through the binoculars or something like that, he was kind of pacing back and forth on the road. So now his father said that why would he pace back and forth on the side of the road if they were on a mission to do some self-harm or disappear. So they think that him pacing back and forth means that he's waiting for someone. Now, obviously, we already talked about it. You think that it could be because he's nervous for what's about to happen.
Yeah, anxiety or something.
I agree with that one. So I think we can't really get anything from that piece of information right there. So what the family now is telling us is that they believe that he was groomed by someone online with a potential burner phone, and he took the gun with him as potential protection measures because he was meeting someone he had never met before, and he was thinking, it's a little bit of a red flag. I'll get the gun just in case for protection. What do you make of that?
That is such a wild theory to have, honestly. Don't you think so?
I think it's possible.
Is it like, but when your kid is missing, there are already like the simplest scenario that would jump into your head, or at least in my head, potential self-harm or runaway. But having this complex theory of he was groomed and then there was an online predator that he's gonna meet, so he didn't take his wallet, he only took the gun, he paced back and forth into the farm, they met at Lacy Lane. It's just a little too complex for me, no?
There's one other crucial piece of evidence.
The burner phone was found.
No,
Okay.
I will introduce. It's not even evidence. It's more like circumstance that I'm going to introduce right now. Law enforcement, they searched the pasture with canines, sniffer dogs.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And they sniffed his scent to Lacy Lane Road. And the scent ended there.
So he was definitely picked up by someone.
The scent didn't go on the other side of Lacy Lane or in either direction, north or south. I'm thinking if the sniffer dogs legit picked up his scent and walked exactly to the point where he was last seen, and then he was gone, and Joe, the owner of the pasture, he said he got to the location where Jarrett at within 10 minutes. After getting to the place where Jarrett was at, he was nowhere to be seen. 10 minutes is a short period of time to completely disappear. Obviously, if you're gonna just run towards a different part, you're gonna do it. But that means that he would have had to run or like really get a move on to not be spotted by Joe. So I'm thinking he got into a car, and I'm thinking that the strict parenthood potentially led him to getting a burner phone. And I do think it's possible. I'm not saying it's what happened, but I think this is why this is such a mystery for me, because now the way I'm seeing, I see possibilities because of the sniffer dogs. What do you think about that one? Sorry, I probably should have told you about it earlier.
No. It's all good. It's all good. I kind of knew about it, but in my head, probably just a random car. He hitchhiked. He got picked up.
But that's a game changer.
Potentially, yeah.
That's a potential game changer.
He could have met foul play by some random person.
Yeah, that's a game changer. In my opinion, that's a potential game changer. It changes the game.
I'm not quite sure about the burner phone though, because
Yeah, I will
in
agree.
that strict of a household where you're not even allowed to sleep with your phone, it's kind of tough to hide something, no?
Tough to hide something, yeah. I do agree. Now, law enforcement did come into the home, and they were actually, as I understand, trying to, look for any signs that he was talking with someone online, and they even went through his Xbox. So Xbox is now also in the question, because he had an Xbox, and you can kind of chat on Xbox as well. So maybe he was actually having a conversation on Xbox. I don't know how it works with Microsoft. Maybe you could delete messages. We're in Europe. We don't do Xbox here. So I don't know exactly how it works. Maybe someone in the audience with the Xbox console could explain to us how it works? Can you like have a conversation with someone online and then delete it, and then law enforcement come out there and they just don't find any
I don't know.
trace?
I only have a jailbroken PS4, which I couldn't connect to.
Hey, it's not jailbroken.
It's not?
It's not. It's official.
Well, yeah, but you couldn't connect to the internet, otherwise you're going to lose everything.
No, you don't have that. It's like legit. You have the official thing. This is like a.
Okay, sorry.
No, you have the whole thing. You have the whole package.
Yeah, sorry for ratting myself out.
No, what are you even talking about? No, you have the whole package. You have the whole package. So, okay, so yeah, I don't know where we were even going here, but I guess the grooming theory.
Can you message someone that you potentially do not know and make friends via Xbox?
Yeah, and I think you could definitely message. The question is, can you delete the message permanently so that when law enforcement come out there, they don't see the messages? That's the big question, you know? All right, so I was going through some additional information, and to kind of top off the info here, I this year actually on it was, I believe, August of this year, so basically a year after Jarrett Brooks disappeared, Joe came out. Not out the closet. He came out with his information about what happened that day. He gave his own take. Joe Zabadal, okay? You remember Joe. So Joe came out, and Joe basically, yeah, well, he's the rancher who made the last known sighting of a missing teenager, and he has spoken publicly for the first time about what he had seen. And basically, Joe was actually not alone. This is another revelation, that Joe was not alone. Joe had spent the past year being the subject of social media speculation, including some with sinister insinuations, because people online were attacking Joe, claiming that Joe had shot and killed Jarrett and then fabricated the whole thing.
I was supposed to mention that.
Oh, you wanted to?
I wanted to mention, like, how sure are we that Joe was just a witness?
Yeah. So apparently Joe was not alone. He said to the Daily Mail, he basically saw that he basically was, I'm trying to find, he was with his uncle. He was with his uncle, and they were watering the location, like watering the crops, I believe. Yeah, Joe made some comments. So he said, he said, I saw what I saw. He wasn't abducted. He walked away under his own power. All these effers online making stuff up about me, saying I shot him or whatever, they can go to hell. I'm done. I ain't saying nothing to nobody except law enforcement. So that's Joe's comments. What do you make about Joe?
Seems like just a really fed up guy.
That seems just like a...
Yeah, like, it seems like, screw everyone. I saw him. I said what I said. I said what I saw, and now you're blaming me.
I don't think Joe is involved. Somehow, I never got the vibe that Joe is involved. From the story, I somehow think that Joe is clean. Unless you guys who listen to this, unless you guys have some dirt on Joe Zabadal. I don't know. Joe Zabadal looks like a normal guy.
He seemed like an innocent man who just saw Jarrett.
Yeah.
That's it.
Exactly. And he even told the media that he called.
You got this.
One second. He called Gary Hunt, a man named Gary Hunt, who owned a landfill in that location. And he said, yo, there's a kid walking around with a gun out around your location. And Gary Hunt, a man who owns a landfill there, he said, oh, leave them be. They're probably just shooting rabbits.
Okay, once again, I just want to say how crazy it is that kids are allowed to have guns. I just find it so bizarre.
So bizarre, right? So now that we know that Joe and his Uncle Tom, he had an Uncle Tom, like Uncle Tom, pretty funny, you know what I'm saying? But he was Uncle Tom. So basically, Joe and Tom, they teamed up to find Jarrett. This is something we didn't know until this summer, that Uncle Tom went north. Okay, there's an image here with 3 arrows. I'm not sure if you're on the file. Do you see the map with three arrows, right? So Uncle Tom, he went up to the northern part, and he started making himself down through the pasture, kind of close to Lacy Lane Road. And Joe Zabadal, he went from the south. And they both were kind of like going, Uncle Tom from up, he was going down, and Joe Zabadal was going from down to up, you know what I mean? And they met in the middle, and they didn't find no signs of Jarrett. So Jarrett, in my opinion, like the way I'm reading this scenario, there's only 2 possible explanations for his further actions, for his further movement. He either got into a car with someone that he doesn't know, potentially, because he has a gun on him, and they went up. I don't think he hitchhiked on July 4th in that rural road. I don't think there's any cars there. I don't think he hitchhiked with a random person. I think it would have to be someone that he was gonna pick him up, or he went west, where the 3rd arrow is at. You see the 3rd arrow? That's where he would have gone. And when I looked at the western portion of that location, it's a desert. And if he went there and if he committed self-harm, I could positively assure you there's a chance that his remains are there and they're not found.
Is there a possibility that his scent would have been erased in the desert?
Now this is a good point.
K9, remember?
I don't know. That's another good food for thought. Yeah, and obviously if you kind of like, just do the math here and you exclude like one possibility because of the canines and whatnot, then it literally just leaves a possibility that he got picked up and they went north. Or at the very least, I will say this, I think it's possible that he got picked up.
Yes, definitely.
Did I convince you that at least there's a possibility?
Definitely, but I'm still not convinced about the burner phone situation.
Oh yeah, that's just an idea. We have no indication about the burner phone. No indication at all. And yeah, that's basically the information. I'm kind of going through like the rest of this stuff.
But you forgot to mention one thing.
The parents' background?
The parents.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was going to bring up. The last few informations that we kind of didn't touch upon too much was that Jarrett Brooks was in a household that was kind of interesting, let's put it that way. A tight phone policy. I don't know what that's all about. And homeschooling, once again, are there any schools in the location, or is there like another reason why Jarrett Brooks is
Maybe
homeschooled?
it's a personal preference of the parents.
It's a strange, maybe, I don't know, man. Maybe there are benefits, of course. And I would say now we come to the big wild card, the huge wild card of the whole case. It's kind of weird, real weird.
You know what's even weirder?
What?
There are multiple Facebook groups that are in private that are apparently exposing the family and saying like a lot of negative things.
So this is the negativity that I found so far, and it's all alleged. Well, the one thing that's not alleged is the 2004 Brian and Laura Brooks, Jarrett's parents, acceptance of a plea deal for public sexual indecency. You and me tried finding out more about it, but since we're in the EU, the only articles from America, they don't let us read.
It was blocked in EU.
We're blocked in EU, so we can't really. So maybe some of the listeners, if you could go and actually find more info about 2004 Brian and Laura Brooks public sexual indecency plea deal. I don't know what that means. All I'm gonna say is that Jarrett wasn't even born then, so I don't know what's happening there. That's pretty strange. Law enforcement came out and they said that they looked at every possible connection and they do not believe that this detail actually means that it has a connection. They don't think it's connected. They don't think that thing from almost 20 years ago has something to do with the Jarrett disappearance. But once again, people online are speculating, and I found some strange speculations, and I can't verify. And honestly, I don't have time to go and verify because, man, that's not what I'm about to do right now. But I went to Reddit, and I did see something. I quickly grabbed a few comments on Reddit, and I'm going to tell you, I think maybe this is what the people on those Facebook groups are saying. So I'm just going to tell you, but it's all alleged. We cannot verify this at all. So the members of the Facebook groups claimed that the parents hosted a dinner party days later after Jarrett's disappearance, that they refused the help from private investigators and some other suspicious things. They also claimed that father was cruising Reddit and Tinder for hookups the same day and had a disturbing post history. Like he was posting some weird stuff. And some other comments that the parents were arrested and convicted in 2004 for many disturbing things done to a minor, and the parents have not helped in the search. And in fact, they have turned down offers to help from the media, podcasters, and in fact, the current reward of $50,000 expires on his 18th birthday. Now, I can't completely agree with that one because I did see how the family went on media thing. I think it was News Nation. News Nation created like a segment on Jarrett Brooks' case, and the family came out there and they seemed very genuine to me. So I honestly don't know the background of the parents, but yeah, I'm gonna stop speaking. Say something. Sorry, I just don't want to hog the whole thing.
I was actually trying to find one of the Reddit comments that I've seen. I couldn't seem to find it, and it's really unfortunate that the only potential source of credible information that we have here, it's blocked in EU.
It's not the first time it's happening.
Really?
Yeah, like I've been like blocked from reading American articles for a while. So we only can read like the big articles, but if it's like a small little website in like a small Arizona town, they don't go through like the EU regulations, you know what I mean? Like GDPR, all that other nonsense. So that's not the first time this happens. So
I see. Well, I'm not against the parents, although the past is really bad.
It's strange, but I don't know what it is. So I think maybe let's wait on this one.
Yes, I did see like a Reddit comment that says homeschooled, 7 children, parents to the past of crimes against minors, parents not assisting with police or the search.
How do we know that's true?
Exactly. All are just assumption.
So I would say this. Let's hold on a little bit on the parent stuff. And this is where someone in the comments, at least one person is going to do us a solid here. Like try to find that article. Like if you're from America, I'm pretty sure you could access it because I'm not buying a VPN just to read some stuff. I'm not doing like VPN for like the local.
We're not big enough yet.
No, like Joseph City Tribunal, you know what I mean? I'm not doing that right now. So I would say go look it up and paste your findings in the comment section. And we'll
or let us know what you think about it.
Because we're going to do more cases, you know what I mean? We're going to be talking about some other stuff.
We might come back to this one if there are any updates.
No, how about in the beginning of the next one, if there's any updates, we can just kind of go through
so kind of we can talk about it a little bit.
Yeah, have like a little bit of a continuation for the podcast.
Okay, so for this one, I just have to say the parents' background are really, really bad. But since we don't have enough information or credible sources or like whatsoever, I'm not gonna make the connection.
Me too. I'm not doing that.
Although the background is really bad.
The background looks bad, but we don't really know exactly what it is. So I'm not doing any of that, especially since we didn't get to see what's in that article. And then I would like to say that my thoughts are that I think it's a mystery, and I think he either committed self-harm, or there really are details in this case that he may have got picked up, and maybe he ran away, or maybe something bad happened and he's no longer alive. But I also kind of looking at the whole story as a whole, I see space for him legit being picked up and being somewhere. Maybe no longer alive, or I don't know, but I think
maybe have another life.
I think this is a huge mystery. I think this is a big mystery. And I think we will definitely keep our eyes peeled, man. Eyes peeled, ears peeled, everything. So thank you guys for listening to the podcast. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like. Please subscribe to the YouTube. And rate us on the podcast applications if you're listening to this on Spotify or Apple Music or whatever, or Apple Podcast.
Cut it out.
Yeah. Okay. Bye, guys.